Well, in addition to the president's health status, there are so many other issues that we're facing in the country today on State of the Nation. Let's quickly toss over to Abuja with Maokbe and Ajuri for this.
Well, thank you, Gimba. Quite a lot has been happening in the country, and sometimes it's difficult to keep count of what is going on. You can barely catch your breath. And so we have decided to look at almost everything as much as we can under this banner of State of the Nation. And joining us right now to discuss all that has been happening, especially on the political arena, talking about the political economy as well, is the President's Senior Special Assistant on Media and Publicity, Madam Garba Shehu. You're welcome to Sunrise Daily.
Thank you for this privilege.
We also have with us in the studio the National Publicity Secretary of the People's Democratic Party, Mr. Kola Ologbondiyan. You're welcome to Sunrise Daily.
Good morning, and thank you. Good morning, Nigerians.
Good morning. Let us start with the issue of life. I mean, security of lives and property is the primary purpose, the primary responsibility of government. We understand that's what the Constitution tells us in many parts. And in that particular regard, some people will say that this administration seems to be, I don't want to use the word failing, but seems not to be on top of the situation as regards the wanton killings which we have seen, become rampant in the last couple of weeks, should we say months as well. Let's even start from January alone. How many people have lost their lives this year alone in conflicts that sometimes no one can really explain? What can we say is going on? I mean, the last we heard was the president saying that the subterranean levels of conflict seems to be an attempt to instigate a war in the country. Is that the feelers that they're getting from security agencies who could really be behind an attempt to start a war in this country? Alhaji.
Well, thank you for this question. And let me say that this line you just raised now is just one of the narratives that are out there. The two other narratives that I know are also the fact that one is that every community that is rocked by crime or killing is suffering Fulani herdsmen attack. And two, that Fulani herdsmen have an agenda to eliminate Christians in Nigeria. So this is in addition to this one that you said.
Which one of the narratives? Which one did I raise?
Oh, the one that said that the killings are going on that we have never seen the type before, and that government is doing nothing about all of that. So let me say that...
No, I haven't said that. What I said is that it seems government is overwhelmed by what is going on. And I gave you the explanation of the president. I said,
that is not on top of the situation.
There is an attempt to instigate a war. Is that one of the explanations of what is going on?
It is very clear that there is an attempt by some people within and outside the country to create a war. Why would I say this? We just mentioned the issue of intelligence. Yes, there is intelligence available that clearly indicates that, yes, there are Fulani herds people who kill. But this country also suffers from attacks by Islam in West Africa, ISIS, which has come into the country and they found a place in the cleavages that divide the country. If you look at the zone that frequently comes under attack, it's defined as the dividing line, Muslim, Christian, North, South. These are traditional differences that divide Nigerians. So it's like they are taking advantage of all of that and killing massively on a scale that we haven't seen before. Lately, I will give you just one example. You know that in the number of arrests that have been made, one particular ISIS group clearly was caught with a plot to kill the Muslim deputy governor of Taraba State. And to ascribe, and this would follow that it's the Christians who have killed a Muslim deputy governor. In Benue, there's a terrorist known as Ghana, declared wanted person by the Nigeria police. Ghana has killed and killed and killed for fetish or whatever reasons. This country has assumed a sophistication of sorts in a particular telephone conversation that was intercepted. Ghana was plotting how goats would be stolen from a herdsman community and how those goats would be brought over, describing the vehicles that would be used, and that no policeman, no security man can come into this terrain. We will behead them, and then we will blame the Fulani. So, in effect, what I'm saying is that there's a lot of criminality that is going on, and that the government has gotten to the root of the situation as we are now in.
Interestingly, I mean, when you just mentioned Ghana, Channels Television, in the days when Ghana was wanted, I think you are aware that the Benue State government did grant him amnesty, and shortly after revoked the particular amnesty and declared him wanted. In those days, Channels Television was able to get in touch, our correspondents were able to get in touch with Ghana. They actually conducted a one-on-one interview with him. Ghana did not seem to be working for himself. He seemed to be working for some politicians who seemed to have another agenda. I mean, we still have evidence of that, and that tape is still very much available when he granted that interview. Whether he was telling the truth or not is another kettle of fish. But then, what do we say about people who say there is indeed an agenda to destabilize? I mean, when Christians say, oh, there is an agenda on the part of Muslims, and Muslims say, oh, no, this is an attempt at genocide. You know, when Fulani say, oh, labeling everybody that kills as Fulani herdsmen is an attempt at genocide. What do you think the government itself has been proactive to be able to, you know, quench and address some of the, you know, suspicions that trail these killings that have come? You know, whether or not they're an agenda or they're not.
Well, that's why we are in a position to say what we are now saying, because arrests are being made and persons are being declared wanted. In Taraba, for instance, you know that some have been caught, some have been declared wanted. Of course, there are outcries from politicians. We are not saying those who oppose the arrest are their sponsors. It's for the law to establish that. In Benue, in the last couple of weeks, even yesterday, there was a parade of men caught with weapons, sophisticated kind of weapons that are used to kill people. And statements are being made. As I said, there is a huge mix of criminality. Yes, the Fulani herdsmen who have taken also to this criminality. There's also the Islamic State in West Africa factor. And the fact that, and with due respect to my good friend who is here, the fact that the opposition political parties seem to be operating from a different country.
Let me quickly,
seem to think that
since you're very eager to bring in Mr. Ologbundoyin here.